Alright, so here we go. This is the beginning of totally different life, I suppose. I am going to be starting this channel off my new email account, and it will be unrelated to my previous sailing account. Anybody who happens to be friends with me or followed me in the past on the sailboat thing, my sailboat is pretty much outfitted for survival and long distance cruising, and I've got 400 watts of solar, lots of battery power, although I was planning to have more and had more before my Suburban got stolen. I have two 12-volt refrigerator freezers. One I run as a refrigerator, the other I run as a freezer. With the sun out, I can run indefinitely off of the single battery that I have. If the sun doesn't come out for 5 or 6 days, then I start to have a problem. The battery runs out and I start to have trouble. So the double battery was a big deal, but I can't really afford to build another one, and the prices are coming down anyway. So the electronics are in there. I've got the depth sounder, I've got the transducer, the chart plotter, sextant, paper charts. I bought a radar dish, but I think I want a better one, and I've not had I can't really put it up until I take the mast down and re-rig. My rigging is ancient. I've owned the boat for 11 years, and it was probably 15 years old then, so it's not safe to sail my sailboat. As always, my propeller is bad, and although I can move the boat by motor, it's risky because the propeller, which is a folding propeller, might come apart. It's just that beat up. I already own a feathering prop, a max prop feathering prop, but I have to haul the boat out to install that and paint the bottom at the same time. That's going to cost me about $2,000, I think, total. Paint, the haul out, the time I spend on the hard, sanding the bottom and painting the bottom. All of that together, I think, is going to cost me $2,000. The rigging for holding the mast up when I'm under sail, that's going to cost me about $10,000. The stainless steel right now by itself is $4,000, not even including any of the fittings. And I'd like to go swageless fittings so that I can technically change out a wire while I'm out in the middle of the ocean. So that's why I think that it'll probably cost me about 10 grand. The battery I'd like to replace is probably about $400 now, and I might just buy 2 of them because they have a nice warranty on them nowadays. It was $1,200 to buy that battery when I built my other 2, and the one got stolen with my Suburban. So I'm not making any money here in California anymore. I just can't find a job in electronics. All those 14 years working in solar doesn't make any difference here. There's too many people that work in manufacturing and electronics and not enough work. So you just can't get a job doing that. I've applied to many places. I've gone to temp agencies, and I try to make as much money as I can working on people's boats and doing odd jobs and Instacart sometimes, and I used to do Lyft and DoorDash and all that shit, but that was long before COVID on that stuff. Instacart was great during the lockdowns, by the way, but even that doesn't make very good money anymore. People that do Instacart nowadays have a really hard time making any money because there's way too many illegal immigrants that are doing Instacart in California. So there's just too many shoppers, not enough people that order off Instacart. So with the cost of living here, even though my cost of living is insanely low, like I think my total cost of my rent, my gas, my car insurance, my phone bill, with unlimited data, by the way, because it's my main internet, I probably under $1,000 a month, and I'm still having a hard time surviving on that. Once I'm buying food, and buying food for my dog, who weighs 9 pounds or 10 pounds maybe at best, I don't have anything to put into the boat. So something has to give. I can't afford to leave California unless I just abandon the boat. With as much money as I've got in the boat, and as hard as I've tried to work on it, and as much time as I've spent working on it, I don't want to abandon the boat. So I am driving to CDL Trucking School in Hayward, California, south of Oakland. I'm currently driving past my old marina in Oakland. It's right here on the right, where my Suburban was stolen out of that parking lot right there. And all of my camping gear, all of my fishing equipment, I still haven't been able to replace all that stuff after 3 years because I just don't make any money here. Occasionally I do make money, but I save it up. I get up to where I have like $1,200–1,300, and then something huge hits, like taxes or a car repair or something, and I do my own car repairs. So I don't pay a mechanic. I only buy the parts and then do the work myself. I might lose a week of work and lose $500 worth of work in the process, but I saved $1,500 by not paying a mechanic to do the work for me. So, it's the most efficient I can do, and yet I'm not able to make money. So I'm going to go to this CDL Trucking School. Since I'm not married, I don't have kids, I'm going to be a long-haul trucker. I love driving anyway. I mean, I don't love it like it's like the greatest thing that ever happened in the world, but I enjoy seeing what's around, and I enjoy traveling around the country, and I've always wanted to drive a big rig. I just, never really wanted to do it full-time as a career, but it is what it is. The federal government's been eliminating tens of thousands of CDL holders for not being domiciled citizens or not speaking English or reading English. And so if there's ever been a time that it's most likely for me to be able to get a good, paying entry-level job doing this, it's now. Many truckers make $60,000 to $80,000 in their first year, maybe $100,000 or more in their second year. I've seen that, if you're hauling like heavy equipment, like bulldozers and that sort of thing, you might even get up to $140,000, $150,000 a year, depending on where you're doing it. There's always demand, local and long distance. But I have no problem with long distance. I'll go on the road, drive by my hours and miles every day, take my dog with me. I'll just pour on the miles. I'll make money, and I'm guessing, because people are telling me $1,200 to $2,000 a week to start. So $1,500–1,600 a week is 3 to 4 times as much money as I can make right now doing what I do now. And a large portion of what I'm doing now is just dumping miles onto my old van, which causes me to have to do more repairs. I have to pay for my own fuel, so that's costing me more money. It might be 5 times as much money because none of that is going on. California is getting ready to see a huge surge in fuel prices. gas is going to go up to $10 a gallon estimated by summertime. I can't afford that now. I sure as heck won't be able to afford it when everybody else is going broke. So this is the way to go. 3 months I'll come back with, say, $10,000 to $15,000 in my bank account. I'll cook in the truck. I'll eat in the truck. I'll sleep in the truck. I'll drive by 9-10 hours every day. I'll pull over. I'll hang out with my dog at the truck stop for a few hours, go to bed, get up at 4 in the morning and do it again. I can do that. I don't mind putting miles on my car. I'm not an aggressive driver unless I'm in some little sports car that I feel for some reason I need to be more aggressive. But in a bigger vehicle like my van, I don't see any reason to be aggressive. Just cruise along, enjoy the drive. I can typically do, like 18, 19 hours in a stretch in my own vehicle. I won't be legally allowed to do that in a semi-truck. So I'll do 3 months. I'll take a break and get my boat hauled out, get a survey on it, hit the road, go out and do another 3 months, come back, my rigging will be done, my boat's fixed. 6 months into doing CDL driving, I've got $12,000, $15,000 in the bank. My boat's completely ready to go. I can actually sail away from California. Or I could buy a trailer and use my diesel van to pull my trailer to Texas, and I'm ready to cruise the Caribbean and the Gulf of America upcoming October in 8 months, 9 months. That to me is perfect. So here we go. Day 1 of trucking school. Now, before my 15 minutes of this video's up, because that's all I'm going to go for today, I've already studied the permit test, the combination vehicle test, the air brakes test. I could go into the DMV and pass those tests today, but entry-level driver training, ELDT, is a requirement by the DMV now. You have to go to a school and take an entry-level driver training course. So even though I could go into the DMV with a physical, my birth certificate, my driver's license, they won't let me take the test unless I go to a school. The next problem is that even if I got my permit so that I could drive a truck, I don't have a truck to drive. So the school again comes back into play. So I'm going to go to school, and I'm going to go to school for something that I've already studied the entire curriculum. I already know all the answers to all the questions that they're going to teach me at this school. But they have trucks, so they're going to put me through the training. They're going to let me drive their trucks, backing them in, learning how to back them in. I already own a trailer, as many of you know, and I'm told that it's much harder to back in a small trailer than it is to back in a large, long, 53-foot trailer. The 50-foot trailer reacts differently and is easier to move. I don't know, I've never done it, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun and interesting. So that's where I'm at. In 4 weeks, I should have my CDL tests all passed. I'll have to go in and get a new physical, but that's not a big deal. I'm pretty active. My knees are a little bit rough, but if I take glucosamine and chondroitin for a few days, that problem kind of fades away. I probably have an extra 5 pounds, 10 pounds on me that I can lose. So when I'm in the truck, I need to watch what I eat, because, you're just sitting on your butt all day. And right now, I'm pretty active. I do a lot of physical activity. So that's going to change. But the reality of it is once I get on the road, I'm going to have money just pouring in, and all I have to do is pay my my standard bills, my rent of $320 a month, my phone bill is $65, and my car insurance is $68. And I'll no longer have to pay for $100 worth of gas every week because I won't be driving my vehicle anymore. I could take my 12-volt refrigerator in the truck if they don't have one already in the truck. We're going to see. This school is not affiliated with a trucking company. So when I do get my CDL, roughly middle of February, it'll show up in the mail. At that point, I can start getting a job, and so I figure I'll start at the beginning of March, actually on the road. My dog is going to stay with some people that I know over in Oakland on their boat, and I'm trying to get it arranged for my bird to stay with somebody on Treasure Island who has a Goffin cockatoo. She wants to breed him with her bird. So we'll see how that goes too. Hopefully I can get a hold of her in the next, 7 or 8 weeks so that can be arranged. But, yep, 9 months I can get out of California. That's the goal. Escape California. Wish me luck, guys. I'll tell you how it goes, I don't know, later in the week. See ya.